In the past 4 decades, childhood obesity rates in America have quadrupled. This has affected our nation's economy in numerous ways. Childhood obesity alone is responsible for $14 billion in medical costs. That number is expected to rise significantly over the next few years. Research shows that childhood obesity comes with an estimated price tag of $19,000 per child when comparing to lifetime medical costs. Obese children tend to turn into obese adults who are less likely to be hired because of stereotypes such as laziness, lack of ambition, low self-esteem, and lack of self-discipline.
This is an issue because it increases unemployment rates and limits the growth of companies. Obesity-related job absenteeism costs $4.3 billion annually. As a person's BMI increases, so do their number of sick days, medical claims, and healthcare costs. The nation will soon incur higher costs for disability and unemployment benefits.
We believe the government should be funding and expanding programs like Michelle Obama's Let's Move program. The Let's Move program not only encourages kids to be active, but it also gives information to parents on how to create healthy environments for their children, and it works to get healthy lunches in schools. Federal, state, and local government should be more invested in this issue, as it affects everyone nationwide.
Communities with high levels of poverty and low levels of education are less likely to have parks and other places for kids to go outside and be active. Local and state government should be aware of the park system in their communities and should make sure there are clean, safe parks for kids to play at. Federal, state, and local government should be creating and funding programs and events that encourage kids to get outside and be active during the day. The children are our future, and the government should be investing time and money in making sure that it is a healthy future.
Hi, my name is Jana Dengel. I'm a registered dietitian, and I work with kids who are trying to be healthier. One of the biggest strategies I use with kids is students tell me that they're eating on the run and their families eat on the run a lot. So one of the statistics that I pulled up is that almost 20% of children and teens' total intake comes from fast food. So I really help them identify what could be a great trade-off for an unhealthy one versus a healthy option. Another strategy that students need to really pay attention to if they're trying to lose weight is compared to 30 years ago, food portions are 2 to 5 times larger than they were when I was growing up. So I help reframe what that portion size should look like. For an example, most kids would drink a soda that would have 300 calories, and they don't realize for a second grader they would need to walk about 10 miles to burn that off. That's a multifaceted question because lower income families may or may not be choosing something that's less priced, but they are marketed in a different way. So my suggestion typically to lower income families is really looking at the cost benefit of some of the selections they are doing, and then also to look at how much they are moving. So it might be easier just to sit inside because they don't have the backyards to play in or the bicycles to ride. So movement is also another big part of the discussion for being healthy. When I look at technology, it can be two sides of the puzzle. So on one side of the puzzle, it can tell me lots of information about foods. I can keep track of foods and activity. MyFitnessPal is something I recommend. So I do use technology to be helpful. If you're a pediatrician, or the American Dietetic Association is going to say that no more than 2 hours of total screen time for all kids to increase their ability or chances to be outside.
Just to touch briefly on some of the studies that I've looked at for social impact, I would say when most people look at someone who's overweight or obese, they can put them in the categories having low self-esteem. They might assume that they have a low IQ. They might assume also that they're lazy. And so we know that's really not true. And in fact, when you look at who is not getting hired or who's being bullied, you're looking at those kids who are overweight or obese.
Though fighting childhood obesity will have many positive effects, there are also some negative consequences that come with solving this problem. In an effort to make school lunches healthier, many schools have started cutting back and downsizing their menus to lower the calorie count. However, this is leaving many students hungry as the schools fail to realize that serving healthier options instead of less food will benefit the children.
For example, athletes need a certain amount of calorie intake to perform their best, and they are unable to get it with new school regulations. In addition, the amount of money needed to fix this issue could serve as a problem for local governments, as they would rather be using the money to fund other things such as crime control and infrastructure. In conclusion, there are costs to expanding health programs for kids and fighting childhood obesity, but ultimately we believe the benefits outweigh the costs.